Hello everyone, today we are going to study an interesting topic, that is analytical paragraph, which is introduced for this year for 9th as well as for the 10th standard students. So let's start what is an analytical paragraph is. So here I have written the definition. An analytical paragraph is a form of descriptive writing. It is also a descriptive writing, as we have written. We know how to write the descriptive writing. So how to write that, which is written on the basis of a given chart, graph, data, outline, clues, table, etc. So this is called an analytical paragraph. So we will start. What are the things we have to keep in our mind while solving an analytical paragraph writing question? Let's see what are the points we have to remember while writing an analytical paragraph. So first thing, it requires analysis. Analysis is nothing but detailed observation. We need the detailed observation and comparison. We have to compare the things. We have to make the comparison of the given facts. What we have to do, the comparison about the given facts. We have to make the comparison and drawing conclusion and coming to our conclusion by looking the fact that we have to do. Coming to our conclusion based on the given data. On the basis of the given data, what we have to do, we have to come to our conclusion. The second point which we have to remember is describe the fact in the best possible manner. Best possible manner we have to utilize, and we have to describe the paragraph and cover the information provided, and that information, what is the information, what is the data is provided, that we have to write complete information. So these things you have to keep in our mind. Some more are there, we will see. The next thing is the paragraph must clear. The paragraph must be clear and crisp language, along with providing complete details. It should use the crisp language along with providing the complete details which is given in the data. So next thing that we have to keep in our mind, that use passive voice. Try to use passive voice. It's better. Okay. So let's see what is the format of an analytical paragraph is. So here, every analytical paragraph should include 3 parts. Every analytical paragraph must have these 3 parts. So what are the 3 parts in that? Let's see. First one is introduction, and the second one is body, and the third one is conclusion. These 3 parts should be there in an analytical paragraph. So how to write that introduction, how to write the body, how to write the conclusion? We will start with that. Introduction. Introduce the thesis in 2 or 3 sentences. It is very easy that we can get it from the question itself. Just we will start how to write that introduction and what are the sentences we can use while writing that introduction, that I will give that also. Second thing is body. Body is the elaborate your analysis in 1 or 2 paragraph. What is the fact given there that you have to compare and give that information in the word forms. And then conclusion, by looking to that complete data or thesis, what the conclusion you have come to, that you have to write in a short paragraph, like 2-3 sentences you have to use for conclusion. So let's see how to write the introduction. So while we write the introduction, these are the sentences which I have written here are useful for writing the introduction. So how to start? The first line I have written here, the chart, you can write the graph, whatever the given thing, what is that we have to decide first, and then you can write the chart, you can write out the graph if the graph is given, if the report is given, that at the time you have to write the chart or the graph or the report or the data, whatever the given thing, that you have to write them here. And after that, here you have to write the things what is given, and given about describes, and after that what are the fact given that will be there in the question beta. It will be given in the question. That much only you have to write. Or you can write that the graph shows, or the graph, the chart, just you have to replace this word graph. If the graph is given, at the time graph. If the chart is given, chart. If the pie chart is given, pie chart. If the line graph is given, you have to write line graph. Shows that further you have to collect the information from the question itself. Question is having that information. Next thing, the data given or data, you can write data, graph, chart, bar graph, that you have to write. Data given provides information about that remaining thing will be there in that question. So you must remember these lines you have to by heart. The graph illustrates, this is a good word that you can use, that illustrate word is a good word. So illustrates that the graph or the chart or the data illustrates that for in the question you will get the further information. And the graph shows that. In this way also you can start your first line. Among these 5 you can select any one of the line and you have to start your introduction part. And how to write, we will see that examples. In the examples it will be clear to you. Okay, this is the introduction part, how to write. Now next we will start how to write the body. Now let's see how to start writing the body of the analytical paragraph. So first we have to start, like how to start, what are the words we can use in the body that I have written here. Like start to rise, by looking to the data we can say that start to rise, doubled, decline, starting to fall slightly, drop down, etc. That by using these words we can describe the paragraph. If we want to compare the quantity of a thing or quantity of some data, that how can we do? Like 20% off we can use, or 30%, 40% off, 60%, like this we can, the highest we can say that highest percentage of the past students, like this we can start. That lowest we can say that. By using these vocabularies we have to utilize while writing the quantity of the given data. Very close to, almost equal to, approximately, roughly, 1/3 of, etc. This type of words we can utilize while comparing the quantity. And what about the comparison? How we can compare? Similarly, that we can say that if two things are similar, that we can say that similarly, in comparison to this and that we can use. While contrast means it is in opposite in direction, like it is contrast with when it comes to like this, we have to utilize this type of words we have to utilize while writing the body of our paragraph. Now we will see how to write our conclusion. What is the starting sentence in the conclusion part? Let's see. To conclude, in overall, we can write in overall. We can write that. To conclude the graph or the chart or the pie or whatever the given information, the given thing is, we can write. To conclude, the graph gives us clear understanding that what you understood, that further thing you have to conclude. Like one sentence already I have written here, that remaining second sentence you have to write. Just remember any one of the sentence from these all. In conclusion, what is the conclusion? We will come to know that we have to write by starting in conclusion. Next, to conclude, this chart gives us the clear understanding that, what the clear understanding? If the chart is the right chart, if the graph is the right graph, if the clue is given, then write clues. If the table is given, write table. That you have to just change this word, this graph or this chart, this type of words you have to change. So this is the way of writing an analytical paragraph. What are the 3 parts that analytical paragraph must have? I have explained up to here right now. Just we will see some examples.
Hello everyone. Here there is a bar graph and there is a question which is asking to write analytical paragraph. The graph shows a detailed study of percentage of men and women who died in COVID-19 pandemic. Summarize the information in the bar graph by selecting and reporting the main features in 100 to 120 words. Now you can see the bar graph which is represented here. The graph is having the 8 countries, different countries. On the x-axis we can see the country's name: France, Iran, China, Portugal, Spain, Germany, Italy and Denmark. And as well as on the y-axis we can see that number of the the percentages of the men and women affected, that is given 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and 80. These are the percentage of men who are affected, and it is the graph is varied for each and every country. That by looking to this complete question and bar graph, we can start writing an analytical paragraph. We will
start how to write it. Just we have to study the graph properly, that how many number of men and how many number of women are affected. Just you can see the graph. In the graph it is shown that line that is which is shaded now, that is showing that women percentages of women, and which is not having any shades, that is showing the percentages of the men who are affected, how many percent of the men and women are affected. And if we are adding both the men and the women percent, that we will get 100% of the people. So here it is described as how many number or how many percentage of the men and how many percentage of the women affected in the different countries. Nearly 8 countries it is shown here. So the first country is, that is France, Iran, China, Portugal, Spain, Germany, Italy and Denmark. So these are the 8 countries which is a survey was conducted, and here just how to write it, just we will see it now, how to write the answer. So I have written the answer here, just you can check it out. The above graph, or you can write above bar graph, illustrate what it is illustrating. By in the question only we can see that it is what it is showing. It is showing the percentages of the men and the women who died in the COVID-19 pandemic. It is given in the question in the question it is there. So that only we are going to write. That only we have written here. The above graph illustrates the percentage of men and women who died in COVID-19 pandemic. So it is our introductory paragraph. It is finished. Now we'll start with the body of the paragraph. Here I have written the body by looking to that percentage, how many percentage, how many, which is the highest percentage, which is the lowest percent. That I have seen, I have observed the graph which is given, and I have written this paragraph. Just check it out. The graph represents how 8 countries affected by COVID-19. How 8 countries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 countries are given, that how they are affected because of the COVID-19. It is described. We can see in France and Denmark, that last 2, France and Denmark, equal number of men and women affected, that is 71% of the men and men, that is the highest percent of the men, and lowest percentage, that is only 29% of the women are affected because of COVID-19. And the least number we have seen now, right now we have seen that highest percentage of the men and women affected where, and now we are seeing that least number of men, or least percentage of the men are where they are affected. Like say the least number of men are affected in France. In France only least number of men affected, only, that is 58%, and the highest number of women, that is 42%. Highest number of women affected in France itself, that you can see the graph. 42%. Gradually the percentages of men increased in Iran, China, Portugal, Spain and Germany. It is gradually increasing. Thus you can see the graph, it is increasing, and the percentages of the women decreasing. Gradually it is decreasing. So in this way we can describe. This is the body of the analytical paragraph, and this is the introductory part. That lastly we have to write the concluding part. Just we will write it, concluding part now. In conclusion, we can say that, what we can say, let's see what conclusion, how to write the conclusion. To conclude, this graph gives us a clear understanding. What the clear understanding we get from this graph? That women generally tend to have stronger immune system than men to the viruses. So in this way we have to conclude our analytical paragraph writing. So I hope that you have understood how to write the analytical paragraph writing. and best of luck for your further examinations, and we will see the different kind of questions in the next videos. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.